Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host Armando Venditti, hoping you guys are having a fantastic day and that you're looking after yourselves and one another. In this episode of the Music Den, this is the second part of albums that turned 50 in 2023 that I said I was going to do today. So hopefully you'll enjoy this as much as you enjoyed the Genesis um, episode from yesterday. I really do appreciate the fact that people did take to that album or that track review, I should say. And hopefully you enjoy this just as much. This album that I'll be talking about today is this band's fifth release, released on October the 12th, 1973, produced by John Burns and the band. The band is Genesis, and the album is Selling England by the Pound. Featuring fantastic artwork by Betty Swanick. This is, I believe, if I remember correctly, Steve Hackett's favorite album cover um, for Genesis. This album reached number 3 in the UK charts, number 70 in the US charts. So the band's fortunes in the US were slowly starting to turn ever so slightly. Um, 8 tracks, fantastic, epic, atmospheric, uh, ethereal in some spots. Great, great. The album starts off with Dancing with the Moonlit Night. This track was based on 3 piano pieces that Peter Gabriel wrote, which Steve Hackett came in and basically joined the pieces together, um, adding some fantastic guitar work, sort of keeping all 3 pieces connected. The lyrics for the album, for this track especially, were very British, um, very sort of a lot of British references on this track. The band was sort of accused of trying to uh, cater to their American audiences too much, so Peter Gabriel really wanted to stay away from that. The original idea for this piece was to connect it with the cinema show, but with how can I put this? The fact that this track was 8 minutes in length and Cinema Show was 11 minutes in length, they decided to keep them separate, and they didn't want to repeat what they did with Supper's Ready, right? So they wanted to, just go off in a bit of a different direction. Basically, they had done the epic one side piece, and they really didn't want to repeat it. And to me, this track, the way it ends, I mean, there's some fantastic guitar work that Steve Hackett does, and it's sort of wrapped around the melody that um, Banks does on the Mellotron. And he apparently purchased a brand new Mellotron that featured some pre-programmed choir effects that he used on the track. Very ethereal, beautiful, beautiful. Um, but to me, that track kind of just fades out, and it does kind of sound unfinished to me. Um, I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe is the next track, the second track on the album, their first UK chart single. This track was based on a guitar riff that uh, Steve Hackett brought to the band, and it kind of evolved from, or did evolve from a jam session that the group was doing. Peter Gabriel does play the talking drums on the track, which John Burns had brought in. He got the talking drums when he went to Nigeria, and he brought them into the studio. And basically, it tells a story about the lawnmower. You know, uh, very comical. This track, very sort of very satirical, very sort of Monty Python kind of thing. Track number 3 is Firth the Fifth, uh, and the Tony Banks had written a majority of the track, as I adjust my notes here. And it's got to be said, Tony Banks worked his ass off on this album. He wrote a majority of the track. Originally, it was rejected by the band in 1972 for the Foxtrot sessions. So he took it, reworked it, took some parts out, put some parts in. They liked it. What I like about this track is it's very sprawling at 9 minutes and change, very sprawling, very epic sounding. A lot of repeats of melody with flute. I mean, there's a section where uh, Peter Gabriel is playing the flute and he plays a beautiful melodic piece, and Hackett repeats that section on guitar, doing a blistering, I don't want to say, not blistering in the sense of epic, really thick, really juicy guitar solo, not blistering in the sense of that it's, fast paced or just goes off the rails in that respect. But fantastic, fantastic. Um, and the piece starts off with Tony Banks on piano, just acoustic piano, and then he repeats the same section that he did at the opening on keyboards, and it's just beautiful. It's amazing. And Steve Hackett in concert, when you hear this version on Seconds Out, you're basically smoking a cigarette at the end of the solo. It's bloody amazing. And yes, Daryl Stuermer does a good job on this, or did a good job on this when he was touring with Genesis in the 70s and and thereafter. But Steve Hackett originated it. No one can beat him. Amazing. Last track on side one, More Fool Me, the featuring the only the second time with Phil Collins on lead vocals, first time being for Absent Friends from Nursery Crime. This track was written by Mike Rutherford, I should say, and Phil Collins, basically sitting outside on the steps of the recording studio. And it's basically a love song, right? And I do believe it was Peter Gabriel that wanted to include it on the album because he never thought that these two would write such a romantic track. Um, Side one starts off with the Battle of Epping Forest, and this was based on a news article that Peter Gabriel read about and wanted to write a story about it, about two gangs fighting in Epping Forest. And he could not find any additional information about these incidents going on. So he basically made up his own story. And it's a great track. I mean, it's all right. Sorry. But the band later on said that, it really wasn't, it sort of half came off in terms of the way they wanted to do it. And the lyrics kind of sort of really didn't fit the music with what they were doing. So they really didn't think much about it. The next track is an instrumental called After the Ordeal. It was written by Hackett, Steve Hackett, and Mike Rutherford, mostly Steve Hackett. The Tony Banks really did not like this track because of its pseudo classical feel. He wanted it off the album. Gabriel didn't. They fought. There's some fantastic acoustic guitar and electric guitar work on this track. I don't know why Tony Banks had an issue with this track. I think this is when the arguments started to happen with Hackett and the rest of the group, notably more Tony Banks and the rest of them. But I do like the track. I do like the track. I don't know why Tony Banks doesn't. Next up is the Cinema Show, another 10-minute sprawling epic, divided into two sections. The first section is a 12-string guitar-based piece, fantastic flute and oboe solo done by Peter Gabriel. It concludes with a 4 minute, 4.5 minute solo section that Tony Banks does on an ARP soloist synthesizer. Um, during that solo, you have uh, Phil Collins and Mike Rutherford doing the rhythm section in 7/8 time. So a lot of intricate time changes, a lot of intricate time signature changes, I should say. And the lyrics were written by Mike Rutherford and Tony Banks based on a T.S. Eliot poem called The Wasteland. Okay. Epic track, again, 10 minutes plus. That track segues into the next track, which is the Isle of Plenty, clocking in at a whopping minute and 47 seconds. And this is basically a reprieve of the Dancing with the Moonlit Night track, which kind of it bookends the album. It ties it all together, right? As you could say, a cohesive piece. But it does bookend the album. So you have a start and a finish. Nice ending. Um, not very memorable lyrics, but it's a good ending. Good way to tie up the album. Um, again, this album clocked in at 50 minutes and some like 30 some odd seconds, I believe, or 40 some odd seconds. The length of the album for a single album is quite long. And that meant, again, I don't know if I said this, but that meant that the sound quality would suffer on the album because per side, you are really only allowed to have 20 to 22 minutes per side without losing quality of sound. And the fact that neither Banks nor Gabriel would concede us, in terms of music, that meant everything went in the pot, right? So, anyways, for me, I like the album. I think it's a very, um, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but I think it's a very underrated album. I mean, songs like The Cinema Show were played quite regularly throughout their career, and also Dance with the Moonlit Night, and no, I was going to say Ballad of Epping Forest, but no, Firth of Fifth were played quite a bit on the tours, and yeah, and this album is a favorite of a lot of people, and it's one of my favorites actually. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. So, anyways, that's it for now. Please let me know down below, what you think of Selling England by the Pound. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like Genesis during their Gabriel era? Do you like them during their Collins era? Which era do you like the most? And is this an album that you go to, or is this an album you actually skip? So please let me know. Put your comments down below. Click like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content that I've got coming up. As I said in my other videos, I will be doing a show with Ryan Gavalier on Thursday on Frank Zappa. We're going to be talking about Overnight Sensation. He's having the new box set that's coming out November 3rd. I'm doing a video with Peter Kent from the Lizard King channel on top 10 Rolling Stones albums. We're doing that on Saturday. And I will be tentatively doing a video with Bill Schuster on New Music Discovery, Joe Jackson Part 3. So please stay tuned for that. And last but by no means least, I will be doing a video with Grant Arthur on from Grant's Rock Warehouse on his channel on the Tea Party's fourth release, Triptych from EMI Canada from 1999. So again, check all those channels out, please. All of them have fantastic content. And I will be seeing you soon with another video. Bye for now.